What's up, fam? I'm Jazz, and this is Blackxecutive, a networking podcast for Black creative pros by Black creative pros, sharing inspirational stories, actionable advice, and giving away the game to succeed in your business and your career. Join the network where dreamers become doers and the aspiring become inspired. Listen and watch on blackxecutive.com. Let's get to it. What's up, Blackxecutive fam? It's your girl Jazz, and you're watching another season 2 episode. Today, we'll be talking to Dre Rodriguez. Dre is an environmental artist for BlueSkies Studios, most known for Spies in Disguise, the Ice Age films, Rio, Peanuts, Epic, and more. He's also a youth mentor, visual arts instructor, and creator of diverse tools. Dre's story is impactful in many ways because of his wonderful journey to becoming a successful artist in his field. Welcome to the show, Dre.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Glad we got to coordinate this early Saturday morning.
No doubt. Early bird gets the worm, man. Stay ready. Get ready.
Look, you coming with the bars already. We're not even 30 seconds in.
No doubt. Got to.
Yes. So before we just dive deep into everything else about your life, which is just a wonderful story. Who are you? Who is Dre Rodriguez? What's your story?
Man, I always say that, I'm just, I'm a black man first, and I'm an artist, and I always say art isn't something I do, it's who I am. And, I knew that from when I was 2-3 years old. One of my older brothers put a pencil in my hand and taught me how to draw. And that's what I've always done. It's been the thing that kept me sane, throughout the years of stuff that I've been through. You know what I mean? Art's always been there, whether it be like when I was playing trumpet for a little while, or whether I was using spray cans, putting huge pieces on a wall, or airbrushing. Yeah, that's me, a black man and an artist.
Yes, those two parts are core to your identity.
Yeah, there's more things there that we can get into, but that's pretty much that's where it starts.
How did you find your way into where you are now as a 3D modeler? What was that journey like?
So I've always done art, but I really wanted to get into, when I was younger, I really wanted to get into makeup and prosthetics, like special effects for films and stuff. That's what I really liked. But growing up the way I grew up, I didn't think I'd ever get into something like that. I never thought I'd be making films anyway. But the computer graphics industry actually found me in the prison system. So in 1990, the end of 95, I caught a nickel. You know what I'm saying? It's 5 years for people that don't know. Caught a nickel, hit San Quentin. This all happened in California. I hit San Quentin, and from San Quentin I went to Tracy. And in Tracy they had a drafting program. And since I put down that on your when you go into processing, they give you this form that says, what are your interests? They have like three slots, and I put art in every one. So I don't know if it was like the universe helping me out here. I don't know, but I landed in Tracy, and they had a vocation department, and they had a drafting department. They had the big desks, the pencils, the whole nine. And inside that department, they had this small room that had computers in it. And I asked the instructor, his name was Mr. Cass. I said, "What's that? What are they doing in there?" And he said, "That's they do CG in there." And I said, "What's that?" And he says, "Computer graphics." I didn't know what the hell that was. I come from a small ass town in Northern California. I didn't know anything about that stuff. And he said, "That's the stuff they used to make like special effects for films and stuff." I'm like, hell no, that's crazy. So he took me into the room, and I started like dabbling in 3D Studio Max, Softimage, AutoCAD, and these are programs that are still used today. And I just started playing around with it, and then he would bring in magazines and movies and stuff that had to deal with, that he would show to the class. It's weird talking about stuff because all this stuff happened in prison, but it was like a cool class. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he would bring in films and magazines talking about the stuff, and I said, I can do this when I get out. And but once I got out, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a black man, with a violent crime, one strike against me. Who won't hire me? So I wouldn't work at the dump, right, in my town, and it was a good job, good benefits and whatnot. And then out of the blue, universe once again trying to tell me stop being hard-headed. I got a brochure from an art school out of
Mm.
nowhere. It just showed up in my mailbox. And I said, let me look into this. So eventually I ended up going to the Art Institute in San Francisco. And I was there I did my whole, I got a bachelor's in media arts and animation there. I was there for 5 years. And then after that, I thought once again, who's going to really hire me? You know what I mean? So I went and got another job, at Home Depot. And right when I was about to start my job, so I was going to start my job Monday, Friday, a person called me from PDI, Pacific Data Images, right? They're part of Dreamworks. Called me back and said, "Man, we want you to start Monday."
Wow.
Right? Because I interviewed with them, but I didn't think I was going to get hired because I'm honest about who I am. So they asked me about my background. You know what I mean? And I don't shy away from who I am because I love me. I accept all you, right?
Absolutely.
So I didn't think I'd get a call back, but yeah, he called me back and in the interview, he told me he didn't care about my past. It's like, Dre, everybody got a past, but I didn't think he was serious. I thought it was just lip service. But he hired me. That happened in 2006. He hired me into facilities, and I was a facilities clerk, and I slowly worked my way up to an artist position. It took me 4.5 years, and 70-hour work weeks and stuff like that. And eventually, I became a professional 3D modeler at PDI Dreamworks, and then in 2012, they had massive cuts at Dreamworks. So I got laid off in 2012, and then in 2013, having built a relationship with a lot of artists in the industry. I tried to reach out to my folks. The next thing I knew, I was getting an offer from Blue Sky in 2013. Wow. So they said, "Hey, come over to New York and let's get busy." And so I've been there ever since.
Wow. That is great, man. And I say this all the time, when the universe is trying to tell you something, when it is shifting and directing your path, there's no way you can avoid that.
and me being so damn hard-headed, man, you know what I mean? I've gotten better, since I met my wife and all that. She's kind of ironed me out a little bit, you know what I mean? Ironed wrinkles out. But yeah, being hard-headed, man, I'm like, it's not gonna happen. Why am I sitting here tripping? Let me go get a job. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it happened.
Wow.
And I got a lot of people to thank, man. I got a lot of people that that have my back and help me to kind of matriculate from one platform to the next. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you look at me, you're looking at a whole lot of people, basically. Yeah.
Yes. Credit to the team.
Always. Never. I don't claim that self-made title. Not me.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. I know it's a Drake song that always used to bother me. It's like, I came up, it's all me. I'm like, was it really though? Was it really all you?
It's funny. It's like my thing is like, if you can't say it in front of your mama, maybe it shouldn't be in your mouth. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure, like, if I said some stuff like that in front of my mama, I'm getting checked. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's all me. I did everything myself. What? Nah, bro.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, self-deification is poison, man.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's poison.
Ours again, definitely poison. Like for real.
Yeah, because not only does it give you a false sense of like, self-important, but it also separates you from the community. You know what I mean? And we should be working together.
Yeah,
for real. So yeah, I don't like self-deification. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I see that. I love this, like, down to earth, like, I just am who I am, which a lot of times you don't get that, especially I feel like you see it the most. I feel like some of the people who do some of the coolest work, like what you do, or in some of these high positions, executives, are sometimes like the most real, raw people. It's the ones hovering in the middle with the middle management that had the egos. you know, but when you get to people that's really high up, they're not even like that. They're like,
it's funny because when you're in a situation where, like, say you shift, right? Like you shift from like one position to the next, you shift from one set of responsibilities to the next, you'll notice people around you will kind of shift their behavior, and that happened with me when I was an art PA. And my last position before I became a modeler was I was an art PA, right? I was a production assistant. And then I switched and finally became a professional modeler, got my contract, whatnot. And I remember with this one guy he was a PA, so we worked together, right? We got late night meals because we were working overtime, and I called him and I was like, and I said, "Hey, did they forget my salad dressing in the salad or whatever?" And he thought I was gonna like go crazy on him. He thought I was about to black out on him and flash on him. You know what I mean?
Aw.
And I said, it's not a big deal. I was just asking if it's cool, man. I can go and I'll drive and go get some salad dressing. You know what I mean? But the fact that just 2 weeks before I was a PA and he thought I was going to change.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, I guess you never knew who I was.
Yeah.
Because a job is just a job to me. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever, because it's about what you do with it. That's important, right? If you got power, big deal. What you doing with that power?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what really speaks to your character.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, it's very strange how people shift their behavior once you get to a certain place.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange.
Yeah.
That's why I go back to my town and kick it with my folks any chance I get. I go straight back to that small ass town, and we out there doing, you know, cooking out in the front porch and whatnot. I'll take that over anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah, that's authentic. I mean, and I feel like that helps you stay grounded, you know.
Yeah. And I like simple anyway. Like I said, I've never been, you know, when I moved here to New York, I live in White Plains because it's close to Blue Sky, right? And we have a shuttle that takes us straight there. And people are like, Dre, why don't you move to the city? I said, give me one reason why I should choose to make my commute longer and more expensive. If I want the city, I could just go to the city.
Yeah.
He was like, man, the city's where it's at. Says who?
Yeah.
Says who?
Yeah.
I'm doing things logistically, you know what I'm saying? Besides, where I'm at is where the party's at.
Yeah, exactly.
I bring the spice. So I don't need I don't need to go to the city to feel some type of way. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially if you're from a small town. Like me being from like the capital, but still a very small kind of town feel to it. Like I like having space. I like to have space between me and my neighbors. I like having grass.
Yep. Yes. The smell of nature, right?
Yes.
Because when you go into the city, there's a lot of interesting smells.
A
lot of, you know, you just like, wow, really? And it doesn't shut off.
Yeah.
There's no time to rest. There's no time to reflect. There's no time for introspectiveness. You know, it's like, that's not me, man. I walk slow until it's time to move fast. You know what I mean? Because my OG told me walk slow and drink a lot of water. I stay with that. Yeah. So I don't need to be in the city. Yeah. OG Kool-Aid told me that.
OG Kool-Aid.
OG Kool-Aid.
OG Kool-Aid said walk slow and drink a lot of water. Oh my goodness.
That's what he told me when I was paroling. I had my bag over my shoulder. I was walking out paroling. He said, Dre, you up out of here, cuz? And I said, yeah, Kool-Aid, I'm going, man. He said, listen, walk slow and drink a lot of water. And he went back to mopping the floor. Yeah. I kept that. I'm like, walk slow and drink a lot of water. That's what I'm doing, man. Patient.
See, it's the simple stuff that really just sticks with you.
I always say life is complicated already. I'm not going to give it any help. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yep. I'm eating. I'm creating. I got a solid person by my side. I'm good.
Yeah. That's what you need.
Yeah. Everything else is all extra. Everything else is just extra blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So thinking about, you know, we just got talking about the city and you know, you being near New York. So you spent some time teaching at the School of Visual Arts. So how did that come about? Like what made you, I clearly see your passion for the community and giving back. How did that come about?
So I met an artist at Blue Sky. His name is John Lynn. And that dude, I owe him a lot because he took my game from like here to here. Right. When I first got to Blue Sky, I said, listen, I just want you to model and I'm going to stand behind you and just watch what you do. Cause he was so fast and efficient. And I would just ask him, wait, stop right there. What did you do right there? Okay. Now stop right there. And he would just take the time to, you know, to show me all these different techniques. So he was teaching at the School of Visual Arts. He said, Dre, you need to go over there and teach, man. I was like, I don't know about that, bruh. That's a lot of responsibility. When I think about teachers aren't just passing knowledge from themselves to another person. They're shaping society for the next generations. That's deep.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I look at teachers. Right. I said, man, I'm not ready yet. He was like, Dre, man, you're ready. You know what I'm saying? With where you came from and your process of, starting here and ending up here, you need to go teach. And it took me like a year and a half before I finally listened to him. And so, because I went to a school of visual arts, portfolio review where we're reviewing portfolios, and he just took me with him. He's like, you're an industry professional, you can give critique. Cool. That the head guy at the time over there, he was like, oh, you work over at Blue Sky. Take my card. Let me know if you want to come teach. It was that quick. I was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. You know what I'm saying? And but eventually, yeah, John was like, just try a workshop class. And so I did a workshop class, and actually it was like it was Saturday and Sunday, and each class was 6 hours long. And I'm cool with that because I'm the one, if I can get in the trenches and stay in there until something sticks, I like that. I'm not the 1-2 hour person. I'll go a whole day learning something new because that's the only way it sticks in my head, because I said I'm hard. So yeah. So that's the only way it sticks for me. So when I taught those 2 classes, a lot of the students at the end of it were like, man, you changed my whole thinking about how to approach this stuff, not just from an artist standpoint, but from what I could do myself outside of like companies, what I can do on my own. Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe this is something that, that I could work with. So then I finally did a class, and one of the students in my first class, she told me after the class was done and whatnot, and we still keep in touch. And she told me, you were my favorite student, or you were my favorite teacher in my whole, college career. And I was like, whoa. Wow. I said, but didn't you have such and such as a teacher? No names. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't put nobody on blast. And she was like, yeah, but he's not you though. I was like, well, damn. Because the person I referred to is somebody I look up to. That's like one of my big dogs. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, yeah, but he's not you though. You gave me the stuff that other teachers did, and the outlook on things, like the proper mindset. Yeah, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm helping, because that's what it was for me. It wasn't about like, some people going to teach me because it's like, hey, this is a place where I can kind of shape my idea of what an artist is, right? Or my idea of what an academic is. Yeah. That's not the right reason to be going into teaching. Yeah. I was like, if I'm going to teach, if I can't help people discover who they are, I don't belong in that classroom. And so, but once that student told me that, I'm like, okay, maybe I do got the skills to do this. And so, I taught over there for a little while, and I'm still on the roster, but with the whole pandemic thing, it's a little tough. And I really, the online teaching, I'm back in that same space where I'm like, can I do this? I'm back in that space again. Online teaching is weird. I like the energy of the room.
I feel that.
I like the energy. Yeah, I like the energy of the people. So am I good enough to do online teaching? So here I am back with the imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and all that stuff. So I got to work through that part, and maybe I'll go back to teaching.
You can do it. I've taught online, and I don't know if we talked about this offline, but yeah, I taught composition for 7 years. College composition. Okay. So I taught online and in person, and I had the same thing when it was time to teach online. I was like, I don't even know if this is gonna work, and I'm not gonna lie, I do prefer in-person teaching because you do have that connection with your students, and you really get to and I love to be able to, when you're talking about concepts, you can see their facial reaction to see if they actually understand you or if they're confused, and you don't get that online. But when I taught, we weren't doing Zoom and all that when I was teaching online. So I bet you could probably more closely mimic in-person teaching now that we have Zoom, a little bit better.
Actually, John offered me John always comes to me with stuff. He's like, Dre, something's going down over here. I want you to be a part of it. And depending on what it is, I'll jump in or not. But yeah, he was like, hey, Dre, this school over here wants to do some online teaching, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not ready yet. So I might give it a shot. You know what I mean? I'm hoping this pandemic is going to be over soon, because I really like being in the classroom and getting into the weeds. One of the first things I told my students when I got in there, I said, listen, I'm Dre. I'm a student too. They were like, huh? And I said, well, I'm still learning. So that makes me a student. So don't look at me as any different than you. Let's get down and get busy and learn some stuff. Don't think of it as like I'm over you. I'm not an overseer. I'm sitting next to you, not above you. They were like, whoa, that's different. And it's hard to get that over Zoom. You know, I want to see all the reactions and I want to feel that,
Yeah.
I want to feel that energy reciprocated. So
Yeah.
we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know where it'll take you, but I'm glad that like you found that passion in teaching. That's so important. And we need good teachers, like you said. We need people who aren't going to like take whatever their ideas and beliefs are and try to sculpt minds to shape into what they want it to be. But to allow students to kind of naturally grow organically and just kind of nourish them. I feel like it's almost just like the same way with the child. You train up a child and you kind of, as a parent, you don't try to control them and what they like and don't like. You don't try to mandate their personality. You just kind of let them do their thing. And you just guide them and you curve them a little bit when they get off track. And
yeah. When you see what excites them, you feed that.
You feed it.
I say there's two things you can do with knowledge: liberate and subjugate. That's it. There's no fence.
Yeah.
No offense. I remember I was talking to one of my partners. They was like, well, what if you just keep the knowledge to yourself? I said, that's a form of subjugation.
Yeah, definitely.
If you keep the knowledge to yourself, you one of the worst.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. And so I try to make sure that I'm focused on the fact of if I'm teaching anybody anything, I'm trying to do it in a way that liberates them from their current state of mind, wherever they're at currently. You know what I mean? If I can get their eyes to open up just a little bit and they get that light bulb to turn on and they think it for themselves, like, okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even if we don't agree on stuff, if sparks are going, that's what I want.
That's what matters.
That's real.
Yeah, for sure. So with that being said, you did some work with Diverse Toons. So can you talk about that and what that experience was like?
It was a really cool experience. Monique and Jade, man, they're going to be a force to look for. They handling business. They handling business for real. So one of my partners, his name's Brian, he was going to be on their panel. So they started at, I think, the Blurred City Con over in New York, right? So it's like a Comic-Con kind of thing, and they asked Monique to put together a panel. And this is how Diverse Toons was born. It was right there at Blur City Con. She got a panel together, and Brian was like, "Hey, I got somebody that's going to be on the panel with us." And Brian, his name's Brian Vincent Rose, he got at me. Was like, "Dre, you got to do this." And I'm not with the public speaking. It's weird. It's very strange to me. I like being in a conversation, but public speaking where you're speaking to an audience, it's terrifying to me. So I'm in the back of the house, not the front of the house, right? I'm the chef, not the waiter. So he said, you got to do this. And just based on the fact I respect him so much as an individual, he's just on point with everything he does. And I trust him. I'm like, let me put everything aside and just do what he says and just see how it turns out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in that talk, just the amount of information that flowed back and forth from like the panelists to the audience, I was like, this is making an impact. And from that point, I'm like, yeah, I got to keep this. Is if I'm always talking about trying to turn on those light bulbs, you know what I mean, and get people to understand self-discovery, I need to keep doing this. And so that first panelist discussion, when that happened, it felt so right. Monique just kept it going, and she got her homegirl Jade, and they started Diverse Toons, and it's been popping ever since. And I think I've been on, I think five of those like Diverse Toons panels.
Wow.
Yeah. And since then they started when the pandemic hit, they started doing a lot of online stuff, and now they're doing they have like artists come in to like showcase their work and showcase their workflow and what they do. They had a guy on there named Danny Williams, who is that man, super talented cat. Just watching him work, you get drawn in to how his level of skill, but not just his level of skill, but how he can teach complex things very easily. So they have people like that on Diverse Toons now. They've had people on there talking about lighting for dark-skinned individuals, for individuals of color. Yeah, Diverse Toons is blowing up now. So yeah, they kind of, it was another one of those areas where I kind of leveled up in understanding my role in what all this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I've noticed as a pattern in your story so far has been there's always someone who's like seeing something in you that maybe
Yeah.
you're not ready to move on or
Yeah.
accept,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're drawing it out of you. I love
Yeah.
that.
Well, growing up, where I grew up, teachers just, they weren't very supportive in who I
Mhm.
was. So they were constantly snuffing my flame out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Eventually you start to believe that stuff.
Mhm.
You start to believe this is where I'm placed,
Mm.
in the in society. And so it took a long time. I still have issues with imposter syndrome, heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when people tell me I did a good job, I'm like, they lying. They just try to make me feel good. That's all they doing. So yeah, it takes a long time. So and I'm so lucky that the people that came into my life did
Mhm.
take the time to see those things in me, because they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have to do that. They got their own lives to do with that. I'm pretty sure they got their own worries and cares and responsibilities, right? But for some
Mhm.
reason, they saw me as worthy to give me some of their time and some of their understanding.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm hella blessed, man.
Yes, and I see that you are returning to that. You do a lot of work with the youth, and
Hmm.
you try to give back and invest in them. Can you talk a bit about that?
I've done a few things. I've worked with uh, the city of Greenburgh, which is right outside of White Plains. I,
Mhm.
I went over there and spoke to a class about what I do. So they had different people coming, like kind of a career day kind of thing.
Mhm.
And they had different people coming from like different industries. They had people coming that study law. They had people come in for entertainment. I think they had some people come in that were like professors in colleges and stuff.
Mhm.
And so that was the first time I think I went and spoke to like kids in high school, right at
Mhm.
that level, 9th, 10th, 11th. Um, and that was cool because they don't give a damn how you feel.
Mhm.
If you ain't connecting, they'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm
so
sure. Yeah, kids don't
so
play.
yeah, so it's like, so I like that because I remember when I was that age, I was the same way.
Mhm.
Like if you're not, my art teacher was the only one I connected with in high school. That's it.
Mm.
Everybody else was, well, my art teacher and my in-house suspension teacher.
Oh my goodness.
She was cool peoples. And so so yeah, it's like I was the same way where if I know you just give a lip service, yeah, I'm not responding
Mhm.
to that. You know what I'm saying? If I
Yeah.
if I see through what you're saying, if it's hollow, yeah, I'm not participating.
Mhm.
You get me excited, then right, you make me feel liberated,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna reciprocate. So like talking over there, City of Greenberg, doing that talk was eye opening because you can't tell if you connect, right? They're not giving you anything, right? They have like stone faces. They're not going to give you anything. And then at the end of it, the guy that was heading up, his name's Troy Millings, another good brother.
Mhm.
Very that dude. He's on his way too.
Mhm.
That brother's amazing. He sent me a video of I'm gonna get emotional right now. He sent me this video of one of the young ladies that was in the class, and she said that out of all the talks, when she heard mine, because I talked about how I went from humble beginnings, hitting the prison system and having to deal with parole and all that. She
Mhm.
said hearing that kind of helped um, demystify all this stuff. Like these
Mhm.
obstacles, we have ways around them. She was like,
Mm.
if this dude could make it, I know I'm good. And I was like, whoa,
Mm.
that was heavy. And there were some serious people that showed up for that day to speak to the students,
Mhm.
and I was the one that kind of resonated with her. It was deep, man. I'm like, that's
Mm.
more to me, that feels better than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knowing that, I like making films. Films, that's fun, that's fun stuff. But doing that is like, I could have, if somebody would have did that for me, where could I be right now? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Not saying I'm complaining, I'm in a good spot.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like
yeah,
my
yeah.
spot.
Mhm.
But where could I be if I got that
Mhm.
when I was, 14, 15? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, it was amazing. And then I worked with TAP, the animation project, another good brother named Matt Munn. He works at Blue Sky. He works with TAP a lot, and we did a few of us from Blue Sky did a story development class for some of the kids at TAP.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the most important things when you think about like entertainment, film, TV, is that we don't tell our stories. A lot of us are not in that space. It's getting a little better right now.
Yeah.
But that was cool to see these kids go from, not understanding story to now thinking about, oh, after I'm done with this story, I'm about to create something else, and I'm going to find some people to work with, and I have a series in mind, and it's like, oh, they're really, some of these kids really, it shifted, like everything shifted for them. You know what I'm saying? So that was another organization I worked with, and then I also did a couple of talks at Westchester Community College in Yonkers and Mount Vernon. Yeah, a friend of mine, she used to work there at the college. She was a instructor there, and she had me come in and talk to the students. And it's crazy how, the messenger is important, right? The message is important, but also the messenger. And when they saw me come in there, they were like, and they hear how I'm talking, right? They see from the crown to my get down how I put messages across, and they're like, hey, this cat is not, he ain't square. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not a square, but I'm sharp like one. So they immediately are like, they're listening. And I remember one young brother, he said, I want to get into computer science. I said, let me tell you something, man. You get into computer science, you'll never be without a job.
Oh yeah.
I said, everything we do right now, from designing cars, our phones, computers, medical, military, everything is computer science. I said, you'll be making six figures in no time. Straight out of college. He was like, are you serious? I'm like, bro, I know computer science people.
Yeah.
And so he was like, and so right there, I saw him, he became convicted right then and there. He was like, that's it. I know I'm on the right path. Yeah. Cause he was thinking like, I don't know, what should I, is it viable? Is it something that I'm allowed to do? Is it something for me? And I'm like, bruh, no, you good. Just stay on that path.
Yes. And I know so often we need that. Like we have that thought, even if we never say it, it's like, am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to be in this space? Like if I get this degree, if it doesn't matter how many credentials, will I be able to have a career? Will I make it? And like, I'm sure he just needed someone to give him that like green light, like, yes, and people are doing it. Do it.
It was amazing. And it was so, to me, it was so simple. But then after like leaving class and heading home, and I'm like, man, that cat's he's going to be writing code for the next development of an AI script or something crazy. Yeah. And I'm like, thank God, man. Because where was he going? I don't know where he was going before.
Yeah.
I just know now, I know that he's not going that way. He's on his path now, and that's cool. And so, yeah, I think I owe a lot because like I said, a lot of people poured into me. So to not do that for others, I'd be a sucker.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel that.
Yeah, my heart don't pump that way. I'm not a sucker, so I gotta do my job, man. I got OGs to answer to. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dre, what you been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do got people like that'll call me on my stuff. Like
accountable.
I've been working, player.
Yeah. Yeah, that youth definitely, they need that, touch on their minds, and that's a passion for me too. Anytime I can have the chance to talk to little girls, especially Black and brown girls particularly, I seek out because they need to see it, and then to be able to be like, I know for me as a kid, I didn't have that influence. I was like, I wanted to be a writer. So everybody was like, oh, that's so cute. She wants to be a writer. My field was so new, like the tech writing as how it is today, and UX was so new. There was nobody to say like, you can be in tech and be a writer too. Like you can enter that industry. So I kind of had to navigate that path on my own. So anytime I get a chance to talk to youth, I'm like, you can be a creative and also have a job in the tech industry and make a living and not be a starving artist.
And you can do this. And you can do this. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly.
Damn right. That's right.
Exactly. They need that. They need that so much. And I'm glad that we have impactful people like you that, can share real stories, because it's easy to me, I feel like the best public speakers are the ones like you who like, I don't speak, it's not really my thing, I don't really do it, and then they don't really just because they're so busy doing grassroots efforts and being in the weeds. But those are the stories that are impactful, because then you have people who are just telling their story, and it's like, it's an inspiring story, but they didn't go through anything, they didn't experience anything, or they had like a leg up they had a head up, you know, they came from
Yeah.
the stereotypical American background that we hear, the American dream. And it's like, well, of course you did that, but that's not my narrative. I can't relate to that.
Yeah, I can't.
You know, so you
Yeah.
need someone who you can relate to.
Yeah. Like if you walk a mile in my shoes, you gonna have corns before you get around the first block.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why for me, I try to find those people out, because we're out here, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we're embarrassed or ashamed to talk about, what we went through. And because being vulnerable, right? We look at that as a form of weakness. We got to get over that too.
Yeah.
And understand that being vulnerable is a sign of strength, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm looking for those kind of people, that because I was in that same space where I said, I know that's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. I won't. I'm not allowed to. I'm not in that. They're not going to let me in that room. Mm-hmm. And now that I got rid of that, I want to find the people that think that way, because those are people that really need more. They need that equity, right? They need that emotional equity. You can't just hand them some type of catchphrase and that's enough. No, they need time. They need time and care, and I think that's where for us, that's who we are naturally, in my opinion. There's an African proverb, I think it's pronounced Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. And I think that's us in our natural state. That's how we're supposed to be. And I think that's why when you see like say sports, what I'm saying, when you see enough of us get together, we dominate.
Oh yeah.
When we start to work collectively, we take over. So yeah, so I try to find those people that have that just most steep hill to climb. Those are the ones that are hardest to reach, and I know that. And I know I can probably, coming from where I come from, I could probably be the one that could reach them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's needed. There's so many, especially young men out here who have backgrounds, with the prison system, and then may come out with a felony, and then they're like, I can't do anything now. What can I do? I have to work minimum wage jobs until I die. Like, what can I do?
And what's crazy is I said the same thing. And what's even worse is when you get a good job. Like I said, when I worked at the dump paid well, benefits, retirement, 401k, the whole nine. Right. So that means I can take care of my family. Right. Because that's for me, a man's supposed to protect and provide. That's first off.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I can protect and provide. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So that's even more dangerous, getting to a space like that. Right. Because you think you got a cool leg up, you good. Right. I'm not going back and forth. I'm not a recidivist. I'm not going back and forth in the prison system. I'm bringing home a good paycheck. I'm paying my bills. It's like, but we can be so much more though. Right. But it's hard to see that unless somebody's right there in your ear. Right. Just like how Brian did to me, was like, Dre, you're going to be on the Diverse Tunes panel. That's it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, okay, let's see what happens. You need those kind of people. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm trying to be one. I'm not trying to just receive. I'm trying to give that back.
Yes. I see that. So I feel like this is already, you kind of already said this, but what has been like the most rewarding part of your career, and what has been the most challenging?
Let me think. The most challenging. Well, I think the most rewarding part is just working with the people I work with. Because that, like I said, when you're dealing with solid people, you can work 60 hours a week and it doesn't matter, because you're enjoying the people that you're around. You know what I'm saying? So that's been amazing to me. And the most challenging is probably dealing with the imposter syndrome of it all.
Yeah.
So on Spies in Disguise, I made this, I don't know if you've seen the film, but I made this drone that's throughout the film. This thing it's like a drone. It opens up. It's got arms. It's got guns. It's crazy. And I remember when the lead on the show, the modeling lead on the show, he knows I like working with industrial design type stuff, right? Mechanical things, especially mechanical things that are anthropomorphic. He gave me that assignment without it going to previs. So previs is short for pre-visualization. They kind of get the gist of things, the scale of things, they rough everything out. He knew I love this stuff, so he just gave it to me, right? So we passed over previs, and I was just, in my mind, I'm thinking of all the ways that it's going to go wrong. all the ways that, I'm gonna fail at this thing. You know what I mean? He was like, Dre, you got this, man. You've been working, you've been in this industry for a long time. You know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Just I trust you. So it was his trust in me and him being so relaxed about it. Like, you'll be fine, And then lo and behold, that thing went from, it was supposed to be in the film for a few sequences, and that's it. But when I finally showed this thing to like directors, rigging, animation, we had a big meeting, and I showed this thing open up, like the arms came out and everything. Everybody just went, oh. And then it went from being in a couple of sequences to being all over the film. They kept the film through the whole film.
Yeah. And
I was, and some of that great experience got robbed because of my feeling, that feeling of imposter syndrome. I couldn't enjoy all of it. I was always just thinking, when am I going to like make this thing go wrong? So that's like, it's still a bag of bricks I'm carrying around. I'm getting better at it though, Jazz. I'm trying.
That's so powerful though. It makes me wonder, like, that anxiety, because I have imposter syndrome too, and I have a lot of anxiety stuff in it, and this need to be everything to be perfect. And it makes me wonder, like, it's negative, but also, does it, because of that, did you create it the way that you did because that was looming over you?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I think the way Cleveland, that's the modeling lead, the show lead in the modeling department, the way he approached it, he already knew I was going to do a good job. So he didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
He was like, that's why I gave it to you. Because you like to do, you're a good modeler, first off, and you like to do these things. The mechanical stuff. You like this stuff. And so he didn't even think about it after he assigned it to me. I'm like, damn, why can't I be like that?
Yeah.
I don't, he already knew I had the skills and the know-how, and he knew I had the communication skills and all that to talk to other departments, blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, so I don't know, did the imposter syndrome make me did it give me a heightened sense of awareness? I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say, but you're going to have me thinking all for the rest of the day now. oh, that one. That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that, like, every single stimuli in your environment impacts the way that you react to something.
That's true. Yeah, I agree with that. That's definitely that's facts right there. You can't deny that one, unless you're like a sociopath or something and that affects you.
Right. Yeah. I think for me, I really realized the power of that when I started consistently making my bed every day. I kept hearing that, like, successful people did that. They made their bed every single day. And I was like, that's petty. That's stupid. Like, whatever. If I got time, I got time. If I don't, whatever. I got stuff to do, But I made it a habit. I was like, no, I'm going to make it every single day. And, like, that small sense of accomplishment.
Right.
That achievement, it set my whole day.
It kind of sets up the synapses in the brain to fire off in the proper way, right?
Yep.
I gotta take that advice right there. If Nicole heard you right now, she'd be like, see? That's real. She would agree with you right now. When she sees this, she's definitely gonna agree. She's gonna give me that. She's gonna cut her eyes at me when she hears you say that.
Yeah.
I'm in for that. I'm in for that one. It's going down. I won't be able to avoid that. But that is true though. It's those small things that I notice that right now. So I'm huge in, like, working out, powerlifting, stuff like that. And yeah, I got so busy with everything when the pandemic hit. And of course, when all the civil unrest and we were out there having to, tear up the streets and let people know who we are.
Right.
So we got to do that every now and again.
Right. Put some respect on our name, like we ain't built this damn country, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And all that, but yeah, exactly. So when all that happened and work was crazy and we had to do that transition from working in the office to work from home, I kind of got off the working out regularly because I used to go in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I noticed how that made a huge impact, huge. So I definitely need to get back on it. But yeah, it's those little habits that help you to form, that help you to kind of solidify the big habits that are gonna definitely change your immediate environment, and then of course change the course of your life. It's a hard thing to keep up, man. I respect to those that can consistently,
Yeah,
man. Those small habits lead to the bigger ones, for real.
I think that's a perfect transition into workflow. So what you already talked a little bit about some of your process. What does your daily workflow look like, and how has it shifted due to the pandemic?
Okay, let's see. So I'm an environments artist. So what we do, so anything that's not related to the characters of a film, we have to build all that stuff. So cars, buildings, streets, forks, knives, like anything you see in an animated film, all that stuff is built by modelers.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I'm on the environment side, everything outside of characters. So I think as far as the workflow, what's tough about it is it was a lot easier when, so if I'm working with, say I'm working on like the drone, I was working a lot with rigging and animation, right? Because animation is going to take this thing and they're going to make it emote, right? It's going to show character in its movement. So I was working closely with animation and rigging, but when you're working from home, I can't just hop up and go over to my homeboy's, cubicle and just talk to him. You know what I mean? And it's happening in real time. Now we have to set up Zoom meetings, see who's available, right? We have to Slack somebody, wait for them to respond to find out when they can be available. There's all these new barriers, right? In between finding, like, discovering the problem and diagnosing it. There's a lot of steps in there now, which, when you have more steps, it ruins the rhythm, right? Ruins the momentum. So that's been the hardest thing, because what we do is creative and it's collaborative, right? And when you have something that's creative and or collaborative, you want to get rid of as many barriers as possible. And the pandemic presented all these new barriers. Yeah. And so that's been the hardest thing to deal with. And also just being around creative people, you become more creative, right? They might say something in passing. That is the thing that you needed to help you with the assignment that you're on at the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like all that's kind of been, it's strange. Even though we're all creative, that small thing we've learned is pretty damn huge. Yeah. Yeah. So that's been the hardest part. But as far as workflow wise, I don't think not too much has changed, because, for us, everything is done in the computer. So after we model something, we do a quality checklist for the model to make sure it's all good. And, we put it into the pipeline, and we have certain tools that do all that for us. Right. This goes back to the cat that wants to be a computer science major. All that stuff that's working in the background, they handle that, right? They have a pipeline that allows us to do this stuff. So when we're looking at the screen, all we're doing is creating. And so the workflow hasn't changed that much. It's been more, I would say, it's been more a spiritual change, and a creative and a flow of creativity change. Yeah, that's changed for us.
I think that's a very accurate description, because I have of course, I'm a corporate creative. So I'm surrounded by creatives, and I think that is definitely accurate of like what we've experienced, even though we're on Zoom and constantly way too much. But it's because we're trying to make up for that spiritual process of creating, when you have that synergy going in a room with other creatives and you're working on something and you're working towards something and you're feeding off of each other, and you just can't emulate that the same in a virtual environment.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. And kudos again, respect to the people that can, man. Yeah. Some people can bring that energy through the screen. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. I'm like, I can't, bro.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I want to be able to look over and see my peoples with, you know what I'm saying? We're sketching, or we're watching something on the monitor. I want you right there. So yeah, it's just been, for me, it's been a longer period of adjustment than some of my other like coworkers and stuff. Like, I'm still adjusting to it. Yeah. So that would be the thing I think that changed in my workflow. Not necessarily workflow, more like creatively and spiritually changed me. Yeah. I feel that. I didn't realize how much creating at work was a spiritual process for me until this happened, and I wasn't able to see my coworkers. And I was like, I connected with my coworkers a little bit more than I thought, and I kind of leaned on them a little bit more than I thought. Yeah, I thought I'm like, okay, as long as I'm up and running and I can work, I'll be cool. Yeah. And I thought that too. Man, arrogance.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Hubris.
Oh my God, hubris.
Yeah.
For sure, definitely for sure. Because I know initially when we first got, we were home. I was like, "Oh, it's popping. I'm an introvert. I'm about to be in my pajamas on these calls. Like it's nothing. It's cool." And then within a few months, I was like, "I want to see my coworker."
Yeah, you just want to get on a Zoom to talk to somebody and see their face.
What you doing?
Right? Yeah, you want to see them laughing and joking. It's like, yeah. And I'm lucky because I got Nicole over here, so I'm not alone. But there's some of my folks, they're single, so they're just trapped in the house by themselves. So I can't even imagine what they're going through.
I also have coworkers who are single, and I have my partner and 3 little ones. So my 2 dogs, and my house is pretty active.
Yeah, you good.
I have plenty of things to stimulate me, people to talk to. But I have coworkers who are just like alone, no animals at all, or like nothing, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. One of my good coworkers, we talked about how he was feeling. He recently moved back closer to his family, which I was happy he did that. You know what I mean? Because now he's completely different now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, for a while he just, he would say, he's trying to make light of it, but he'd say, yeah, I'm having a hard time adjusting to this, and he's a serious introvert. He's seriously an introvert. He's cool with just sitting at his desk and working, right?
Yeah. So
I thought he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Nah, he wasn't fine. Nah, he's like, no, I'm having a hard time. I'm struggling with this. And I'm like, damn, Adam struggling with this. What's going on with that? I'm like, yeah, this is heavy, man.
Yeah, I will say it time and time again, introversion, extroversion, regardless, humans are social creatures. And I think we've all realized that regardless of where you draw that energy from, we have to engage with other humans at some point. It's in our DNA. It's encoded in how we were designed. So we need that.
No doubt. And hopefully this will be the last time we have to, cheat Cheetos out of the office. So hopefully we have, hopefully the next person that's in there, hopefully Biden.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm a fan, but hopefully he'll follow science.
Yeah. I feel that. All right. So as we get ready to wrap up, as we get close to time, I have 3 questions. 4. I always ask every guest.
Okay.
So the first one.
Heavy.
It's not that heavy. The first one. What is a current or recommended read? It could be any read. It could be related to personal growth, your career journey, anything.
Recommended read. I'm still reading. Hold on. Let me get Michelle Alexander wrote it. The New Jim Crow. I would say I'd say that's recommended. And of course, a lot of us know this stuff, but she lays out the relationship between Black America and white sponsored terrorism in the judicial system in a way that you can only come to one conclusion if you got a moniker of intelligence. You can only come to one conclusion, and that is that we need to have our own set of standards within our communities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because reading her stuff, like I knew a lot of it, but how she connected the dots, man. Ooh, the New Jim Crow.
There you go. That's a good one. And that's a classic. So if you have not read that, it definitely needs to be in your collection for real. Especially as a person of color, especially if you're Black. Like you need to be.
Yeah. and if you're a so-called ally.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't mean any offense by that. I'm just saying so-called because you got to prove something to me first. So
let me tell you, I have had one of my closest friends is white, and we have had so many very raw discussions about what it really means to be an ally, what it means. Because even sometimes she's had some moments where she says some stuff, and I be like, "Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I love you, so I'm gonna tell you. But if I didn't love you, you might have got stolen."
No doubt. Yeah.
But I'm up for to teach you something.
She might have caught that 2-piece, huh?
She might have caught it.
Extra crispy. No, I feel you.
just to have that conversation, just to have that conversation and that dialogue. That's so important, though. Yeah, so-called allies. There's a lot of times, which you think is allyship is not. It's tolerance.
It's simple for me. When how much skin you got in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You could say whatever you want. I always say that whatever words you use don't matter to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's where you put your energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, what you're willing to fight for. That's all I care about. Like I can hear a white man say, I don't like black folks, but they're Americans and they should have the same rights as me.
Mm-hmm.
He's an ally.
All right then.
Because he's fighting for my right. You don't have to like me. I'm cool with that. I like myself enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. But if I hear a person say, but since they're Americans, they deserve the same rights and they deserve the same rights and treatments that I get to have, and I'm willing to fight for that, we allies. Anything else to me is all, performative.
Yeah.
As far
as I mean, and that's why you have, I remember learning. I'm a big fan of Malcolm X and Blackxecutive. But what I kind of grew up with my dad really preaching to him. I always talk about how, most folks grew up with a picture like white Jesus in their house. I grew up with Malcolm X like this.
There you go.
In my house. So my dad was always on that, but I remember when I was reading about how he had to go, like, based on the orders of Elijah Muhammad, to like meet with the Klan. And everybody was like, what? Why was the NOI meeting with the Klan?
Right.
And it was because at the table, they're like, look, we want the same thing at the core. I don't like you. You don't like me. But you want to go over here and do your thing. I want to go over here and do my thing. You want us to leave each other alone. And it was so much, and it was, people were so angry, upset about that, but it's because they were like, we have the same, at the end of the day, the same goal. It's like, I don't want you bothering me, you want me bothering you, you don't want us to mix.
Yeah, that's it.
And I always think about that, because that just blew my mind. And I was like, why would they sit down with the Klan? Like,
that's the next level of thinking. And it's funny because that's where I saw that play out is when I was doing time. The correctional officers, I forgot exactly what they did. They changed some type of policy in the prison system in Tracy. They changed something, and we got lit. We was all standing up there. It was like, it's 10 o'clock. Count, everybody get to your bunk. No, we ain't going to our bunks. Right. And I was in what was called the zoo. It was a big auditorium full of 300 convicts. We all were out of our bunks. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we got to discuss this before 10 o'clock count happens. The people on the people on the cat tower or the catwalk, they got the Mini 14 aimed at us and whatnot. You got CS7 gas aimed at us. We didn't give a damn. At that moment, we was all fighting for the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen that play out, in the prison system, where it's like, yeah, we're all convicts. You have your group, and I have my group, but we can have respect, you know what I'm saying? And we can have a set of rules and guidelines that keep the ceasefire going.
Right.
Yeah. So that's like a whole nother level thing. And a lot of people out here can't really get to that point. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough thing to get to, like to sit down with somebody and that their beliefs might be totally opposite from yours, to the point that it can cause some disruption, but still sit down and have an intellectual conversation of like, okay, listen, you want rights, you want the same rights that I do, and vice versa. How do we accomplish that? And you still get to keep your beliefs. Because my thing is like, yeah, I don't give a damn what you believe in. I ain't worried about that. You know what I'm saying? My worry is, can I get pulled over for a busted taillight and still make it home like you can? That's it. Do you think I deserve that or not? If you think I don't deserve that, yeah, we got a problem. If you think I do deserve that because I'm a tax-paying American just like you, then we're good. Yeah.
Believe what you want. You don't have to like me. You don't have to love me. Just respect that I'm my own individual, and I deserve my own, autonomy and the same rights. That's right. It is what it is.
Justice brings about civility, not the other way around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think that rolls perfectly into my next question. How do you feel like your work impacts communities of color, specifically the Black community?
So yeah, that's heavy. I think that being that, I am a Black man, and I come from the Black community, whether I wanted to or not, whatever I do is going to impact.
Yeah.
Right. So I think everything that I do has an impact. And I think now I've shifted from things happening to me to things happening through me. I think I've shifted to that now, and I definitely got a lot more work to do and a lot more to learn. But I think what I'm trying to do is like show people that you can take whatever skills that you have and be able to put your own voice to it. And that's the place you're supposed to be in society, and that's okay wherever that is. You know what I mean? So I think that's the impact that I'm having. I hope it is. I hope it is. But I guess really I won't really know that until, decades from now, when I see the people that I've talked to, years before, like what they've grown into. You know what I'm saying? So I think jury's out on that. I believe I'm doing pretty good. I believe I'm bringing some positivity. I believe I'm bringing some enlightenment, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I bet you are. I'm sure. I think it's already started to come back to you.
I hope.
Kids and the things they said about you and how
I
you
hope so.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So what are 3 to 5 actionable steps for those who are looking to pivot their path? What would you say?
Damn, 3 to 5 actionable steps.
Mm-hmm.
I think number one is stay active, stay attractive. Right. So keep moving. Don't sit still. Try to find the things that excite you. I think that's one. I think two, if you fall in love with the fight, you can't lose. Right. So find whatever it is that you like to do. Make sure it's the process that you like. Not the accolades and not the admiration. Nah, you know what I mean? Like for me, I do art, period, whether I'm getting paid for it or not, because I love it. It's what makes me feel alive. It's what makes me feel like it's what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So if you fall in love with the fight, you can't lose. It won't matter about what other people think of it. You know what I mean? You'll never be defeated, because you're always coming back for the next two piece. You're always coming back for the next round, and I think the third one I would say, how can I put this? Watch your damn mouth and how you treat people.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you're talking to at any given time. You could be talking to the next CEO of whatever, you could be talking to the next president of the United States. You don't know.
Yeah.
I think I watched Kamala talk about, when she was talking about her mom, saying, I'm sure my mom didn't expect me to be vice president one day. And then here I am,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, watch your mouth. And I would say a fourth one, walk slow and drink a lot of water.
Pass it on along.
Man, it's worked for me. Oh my God, it's worked for me so well.
Yeah. You can do a lot. You can be amazed what walking slow and drinking water can do. I have a friend, her entire weight loss journey was literally her walking everywhere and drinking water.
There you go.
She lost 100 pounds. Like,
damn, kudos to her.
Literally walking and drinking water. But last question to get you out of here. So where can people find you online to keep pace with your creative journey?
So my website is dre3d.com. And hell, you can just, my personal email, Andre Rodriguez SR at gmail.com. You can reach me there. I'm not hard to find. If you do get at me and I don't get back at you, bother me. Get at me. I'm not bougie. Like Dre, I already sent you one email, damn it. Say something back. Get at me and I'll get back to you.
Y'all heard that, get at him. So I'm going to drop all that info in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, and in the show notes if you are listening in your car or while you're working out or whatever you're doing, whatever you do to listen to the show. But thank you, Dre, for taking the time to talk to me this Saturday and like dropping everything that you drop. Like you have so many like 2 or 3 word phrases. Like I'm just gonna make a whole list and like put it in the show notes.
Some of my folks told me I should write a book of Dreisms. I'm like, I don't know.
I would buy that. I would buy Dreisms for real. Like, look, hey, digital assets. That's my thing, man. Throw that up. Put that on your website.
I might, you know what? I might have to work with you on that.
Yeah, for real.
I might need some guidance.
Yeah, I download it for sure.
No doubt. And thank you for having me here. It was It's an honor to be here.
Thanks for watching Blackxecutive. Join the conversation in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe. You can find a full list of all available podcast episodes on blackxecutive.com or wherever you stream. Until next time, keep aspiring to inspire.